My bot text your bot.
You know I'm gonna have to lie to all my yoga friends about this explosion burn.
Here, say it's a sunburn. Tell them I missed the spot at the beach.
I feel guilty that I'm glad that the kids aren't home until tomorrow. I'm so tired.
I know. Today was a tough day.
Promise me we'll never be like Arnie and Sharon.
Oh, I promise. And believe me, after hearing live grenade in the shower.
Wait, what?
It doesn't matter. The point is, dodging shoulder-mounted missiles wasn't too hard in our relationship.
I mean, I wouldn't choose it necessarily. But Sharon had a point. If you look at it the right way, the job can be a little sexy.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It can be.
I think you're right. I think it is sexy.
Wait, what grenade?
Oh, honey.
Ahead on News 9, an Oklahoma school district facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. The allegations, plus death row inmate Richard Glossop denied clemency. What's next in the case?
Can I trust you?
Of course. Can I trust you?
I told you I was trouble.
Always.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue. Then I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Make life beautiful. La vie est belle. The iconic fragrance. Lancôme.
Introducing Astapro Allergy, steroid-free allergy relief that starts working in 30 minutes, while other allergy sprays take hours. Now with Astapro Fast Allergy Relief, you can Astapro and go.
Colbert's got Jennifer Garner and Congresswoman Katie Porter tonight on CBS.
Does this dress say, take out a general for me?
Show me you're unarmed. Honey, you could take out the whole regime.
True Lies, new next Wednesday at 10/9 Central on CBS.
The new So Help Me Todd, Thursday on CBS.
Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
How volunteers provided refuge for rescuers of the Murrah building bombing. Plus a hazing lawsuit against an Oklahoma school district, the push for a settlement, and death row inmate clemency denied. What's next in the case? It's all right now on News 9. Thanks for joining us here at 10 o'clock. We begin with the weather. 2 storms down, still 2 left to go.
David Payne's in the Bob Mills Weather Center tracking another round of rain.
You know what? This is becoming a good habit, right? And a hard habit to break. We like the rain. It's been a 3-day deal, and we're not finished yet. We have clouds, we have drizzle, we have rain, and we have some fog out there. That shot will look just like that tomorrow morning when Jed and Lacey are out here, and the rain will continue to fall. It's going to get a little bit heavier before it gets lighter. Okay, let's get to it here on Links 1. Rain amounts the last 3 days, 2.65 in Stillwater, 1.5 inches in Oklahoma City, Byers at 3 inches, 1.46 in Kingfisher, and the rest of Oklahoma. The heaviest rain fell where they desperately needed it, the northwest, central, eastern Oklahoma. You didn't need it that bad, but you got it. Places in the west and northwest that really needed it, over 1 inch to nearly 2 inches in the Panhandle. The most rain the Panhandle's picked up since August. That's right, August of 2022. All right, look at this. Yeah, check out the spin now coming into southwestern Oklahoma. Ball of energy out ahead of it. We're getting lift. We have some lightning, some thunder in this line. You might actually get a little bit of some very small hail, not severe, right? Well, that's going to make its way east. Out ahead of it, look at the atmosphere beginning to lift. We have showers developing. Look at the showers now beginning to take off, and it is going to be a wet night. all night long, and a wet morning drive. Look at all that rain and drizzle mixed in there, and it just continues to develop right over central Oklahoma. But the big wave will come in here a little bit later on tonight. Storm number 1, that's what we're dealing with right now. That's not over. Storm number 2 is on its heels. More rain and a little severe weather. What about the marathon? Delay or no delay, and 70s and 80s on the 9-day. It's coming up. Guys, back to you.
David, thanks. The Pardon and Parole Board denying clemency for death row inmate Richard Glossop. His 9th execution date now set for May 18th. Our Jordan Fremstead joins us now live with the latest, including what's ahead for those involved.
Carl, there were many mixed emotions at today's board meeting. It really depends on who you talk to as far as how they felt about today's decision to deny clemency. And now everyone on both sides of this case will have to wait and see if Governor Kevin Stitt will potentially delay Glossop's death sentence for a 4th time.
We have let a wound heal and the scab's been torn off again.
2 families feel completely different about this decision.
Clemency is denied.
For Donna Van Treese, she feels she finally got the answer she's waited for.
I feel like justice has finally been served after 26 years.
Justice for her late husband, Barry, who was murdered in 1997. Prosecutors said Richard Glossop paid a coworker, Justin Sneed, to kill Van Treese at an OKC motel. Sneed is serving a life sentence, but Glossop is facing the death penalty.
And I cannot even begin to express to you how agonizing of an experience that is to have to do with the one you love.
Glossop's death has been delayed 3 times. After Wednesday's Pardon and Parole Board decision to deny clemency, the decision to delay his May 18th death again sits with Governor Kevin Stitt. News 9 legal analyst Irvin Box thinks that will happen.
I don't think Glossop's ever going to be executed. I think there's too much baggage, too much concerns about really what was done in this case.
Wednesday, attorneys for Glossop filed an unopposed application for stay of execution with the U.S. Supreme Court.
I'm not a murderer, and I don't deserve to die for this.
2 families disagree on this decision, but they both share the pain.
Honestly, we're victims as well. We've been in prison this entire time with this situation.
In Oklahoma City, this is Jordan Fremstead, Oklahoma's Own, News 9.
Now, the governor has not commented. Meanwhile, Oklahoma County DA Vicki Behenna penning a letter to the Pardon and Parole Board ahead of today's clemency hearing, actually altering criteria for capital punishment cases. She outlined several guidelines saying the death penalty should only be used in the most egregious of cases, including those involving mass casualties or for offenders with a significant history of violence. Behenna continues in part, quote, Mr. Glossop's case would not qualify for the death penalty in Oklahoma County under these new guidelines. And News 9 legal analyst Irvin Box agrees, adding Glossop's case puts Oklahoma in a dark national spotlight.
And she's right. I don't think in this day and time, had we repeated this crime, it was repeated today, that they would even seek the death penalty against Glossop whatsoever. So it's an anomaly, this whole case is. And I said everything about it is different.
Box adds Governor Stitt cannot stop the execution. He can only issue a 60-day reprieve or delay. Glossop has had 3 reprieves in the past.
At the Capitol, the House working late tonight, battling it out over a bill banning gender-affirming care for those under 18.
When we exclude, we are excluding beautiful pieces to our puzzle.
Part of your bodily function is going through puberty. You are preventing that person from progressing the way that they were meant to progress.
After hours of heated debate, the bill ultimately passed. It now heads back to the Senate for a vote. 3 hospitalized, including an OKC police officer who was heading to an emergency call after a crash on Penn near I-240. The good news here, everyone is going to be okay. On April 19th, 1995, a long 17-day search and rescue mission began after the bombing at the Murrah Federal Building.
First responders near and far flooded Oklahoma City to help. And for the first time, News 9's Bobby Miller is talking with medical volunteers who created a makeshift city as a refuge for rescue workers.
Is this? That's me.
That's you, yes. Okay, yes.
A bit younger.
Well,
I can tell, though. Much to look back on.
This was where they could come away from the devastation and get loved on and taken care of and fed. I mean, look at the donuts. I mean, so many donuts.
Laugh a little and feel a release. It's what people under great stress do in such times.
Governor Keating was down there.
And he needed some Tums?
Apparently.
Okay. I can imagine as the governor at the time. The women poring over picture albums with me.
I don't even remember me. I was a baby working down here. And I told Bobby, I said, I'm still in contact with her on Facebook.
Brought back together after many years to remember. Shelley Clay had just finished a double shift in the newborn unit at a Metro hospital. Instead of climbing into bed, she turned on the TV to see downtown OKC after the explosion.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
She was 23, months out of nursing school, and knew she had to go.
They just put a notice out throughout the hospital. So my mom and I were both said, yeah, we want to help. Yes, absolutely. And so we came, I believe it was the next day, and I worked 2 full days down here.
At Ground Zero, she and a team of doctors and nurses jumped in.
The workers, of course, were in horrible conditions, going through the building, and they even had the rescue dogs. And so there were lots of cuts and scrapes, tetanus shot needs. We could doctor the dog's paws, some of that happened. And then we also gave some B12 shots for just stamina, because some of these workers, they were doing shifts, but they would work all night. You could just see faces, they were just drained.
The tiny makeshift medic stand met immediate needs on site. But a block away, a city was forming. The mayor of it, a take charge, make it happen kind of lady, Dr. Sheila Simpson.
My husband, who was on the police force at that time, was telling me about what he had done that day. He was on the emergency response team, had been at the site, and I was telling him how frustrated I was because I wanted to do something to help, and I couldn't help anyone. And he said, why don't you come down with me tomorrow?
And ambitious Dr. Simpson closed her private practice and began recruiting.
I sent out this fax. I got this huge response. Every doctor I knew at the hospital sent me back information. Just tell me when and we'll be there.
The eager team was formed and dubbed their new home the OKC MASH unit. Now, in 2023, it's OCU's School of Law. But then, in 1995, it was the Southwestern Bell Center, and they turned the parking garage into the command center.
I saw that we needed medications for these rescue workers. Some of them started having bacterial infections from breathing this dust in. They were walking through all the debris, and they were cutting their feet, even through their thick-soled boots. They were getting blisters. And we got podiatrists down to start working on their feet.
The injuries and ailments grew, and so did their city of help. 50 volunteers and everything a worker might want, from cough drops to allergy medicine, was provided. And then there was emotional support.
We would get them, we'd give them the hugs, and it's like, did you find a body today? It was eerie. It was silent. Yeah. There was a fine mist, and they walked us right by that pancaked area, and it was before they had taken the babies out. It haunts me.
Dr. Simpson and Shelley also felt the loss of one of their own. Chair 168 is for Rebecca Anderson. She was a nurse who rushed to the federal building as soon as she learned of the tragedy. She died of a head injury sustained while trying to rescue someone.
I hate that that happened, but she gave her life for her fellow man. Greater love hath no man than to lay down his life for his fellow man. Right by these doors.
The ladies went back to the spot where such care was provided.
We set up.
So many years ago.
It was our cardboard clinic.
Life was taken at the bombing. Love was poured out here.
Sometimes it seemed a little chaotic, and other times it was peaceful under here, because like I said earlier, this was their safe refuge to come and just get away, to get their needs met. And we knew they had to go back out, but for a short time, this was it. This was the refuge.
The city closed after 17 days. Search and rescue was over, and it was time for demolition. But the memories and life learned can never be torn down.
Just as fresh as like it was yesterday. those sites, those are just things that we hadn't seen at 23 years old, you know. I hadn't seen that, and that was something that I think really made an impact on me. And really knowing that, hey, there's a lot of lives have been shattered, not just the ones that were lost, but the people they love. It really made you know 168 lives were taken, but millions were affected.
In OKC, Bobby Miller, Oklahoma's own News 9.